The bustling city of Lagos glittered under the scorching sun, its streets alive with honking cars, the cries of hawkers, and the rhythm of life that never seemed to slow. For Lucy Adewale, however, this day was supposed to be her moment of glory. The beautiful 28-year-old was set to marry the love of her life, Emeka Onyekwe, a charming businessman who had swept her off her feet 3 years prior. The wedding was to be the event of the year. Held in the Grand Lagos Continental Hotel, no expense had been spared. Lucy had dreamed of this day since she was a child, imagining herself walking down the aisle in a flowing white gown while her family and friends watched with awe. Everything seemed perfect, except for one shadow lurking in the background. Lucy's grandmother, Mama Ibeji, was not a fan of Emeka. An old, superstitious woman from her mother's village, Mama Ibeji believed that Lucy should marry someone from their Yoruba tribe, not an Igbo man. She had made her displeasure known from the moment Lucy announced her engagement, going so far as to warn Lucy's parents that she would take drastic measures if the wedding proceeded. But Lucy, a modern Lagosian, dismissed the old woman's threats. "Grandma is just being dramatic," she had told Emeka. "She'll come around eventually." Little did Lucy know that Mama Ibeji was no ordinary grandmother. She was a feared herbalist in her village, known for her ability to curse even the strongest warriors. And she had decided that Lucy's wedding would not happen without a fight. The wedding day dawned bright and beautiful. Lucy's friends and family gathered in her bridal suite, helping her into her exquisite lace gown. The room was filled with laughter, the scent of fresh roses, and the sparkle of joy. Yet Lucy couldn't shake an uneasy feeling in her chest, a nagging sense that something was amiss. As she looked in the mirror, her mother, Funmi, approached with tears in her eyes. "You look just like I did on my wedding day," she said, brushing a stray curl from Lucy's face. "Thanks, Mum," Lucy replied, smiling softly. "But where's Grandma? I haven't seen her all morning." Funmi's face darkened. Mama Ibeji insisted on staying in her hotel room. She said she wasn't feeling well, but you know how she is. "Don't let it bother you." Lucy nodded, but the unease grew stronger. The church was packed to capacity, with rows of elegantly dressed guests whispering and snapping pictures. The choir sang melodiously as Lucy walked down the aisle, her arm linked with her father's. Emeka waited at the altar, his smile radiant and full of love. But just as the pastor began the vows, the unexpected happened. A loud bang echoed through the church, startling everyone. The chandelier above the altar swung violently, as though pushed by an invisible hand. Gasps rippled through the congregation as the lights flickered and went out completely, plunging the church into darkness. "What's happening?" someone cried. Before anyone could respond, a bone-chilling laugh filled the room. It was a deep, guttural sound that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Lucy froze, her hand clutching Emeka's. "Grandma," she whispered. The lights flickered back on, and standing at the back of the church was Mama Ibeji. She wore a long black gown, her eyes glowing unnaturally bright. She raised a gnarled hand and pointed directly at Lucy. "This marriage will not happen," she declared, her voice booming. "Lucy, you have defied tradition and spat on your ancestors. You will suffer the consequences." A collective gasp swept through the room. Before anyone could stop her, Mama Ibeji turned and stormed out, leaving behind an air of terror. The ceremony resumed after much hesitation, but the atmosphere had shifted. Lucy and Emeka exchanged vows and rings, but the joy that had once filled the room was now replaced with unease. As they exited the church, the skies darkened ominously, and a sudden downpour soaked everyone to the bone. The reception venue, which had been painstakingly decorated, was found ransacked. Tables were overturned, the cake smashed, and the floral arrangements torn apart. Guests whispered amongst themselves, blaming Mama Ibeji's curse. "This is not ordinary," an elderly aunt muttered. "That old woman is powerful." Lucy, however, refused to believe in curses. "This is just a coincidence," she insisted, though her trembling hands betrayed her fear. In the days that followed, Lucy and Emeka tried to settle into married life, but strange occurrences plagued their home. Doors slammed shut on their own, mirrors cracked inexplicably, and eerie whispers echoed through the halls at night. Lucy's health began to deteriorate. She lost weight rapidly, her once radiant skin turning pale and sallow. She suffered from nightmares where Mama Ibeji appeared, chanting ominous incantations. Emeka, too, became a shadow of his former self, his business deals falling through and his confidence dwindling. Desperate, the couple sought the help of a pastor. The man of God prayed fervently, sprinkling holy water throughout their home. But the disturbances only grew worse. Unable to bear it any longer, Lucy decided to confront her grandmother. Accompanied by Emeka and her mother, she traveled to the village where Mama Ibeji lived. The old woman's hut was dark and foreboding, filled with strange herbs and animal bones. She sat in the corner, grinding something in a mortar. "Grandma," Lucy began, her voice shaking. "Why are you doing this to us?" Mama Ibeji looked up, her eyes cold. "You brought this upon yourself, Lucy. You disrespected your lineage and ignored my warnings. Until you honor your ancestors, you will know no peace. What do you want from us?" Emeka demanded. "You must end this union," Mama Ibeji replied. "Or the curse will consume you both." Lucy and Emeka returned to Lagos, torn and defeated. The love they shared was undeniable, but the curse loomed over them like a dark cloud. They sought advice from elders, pastors, and even traditional healers, each offering conflicting solutions. In the end, they decided to perform a reconciliation ritual to appease Mama Ibeji and the ancestors. With the help of a respected Babalawo, they organized a ceremony in the village, offering sacrifices and prayers for forgiveness. During the ritual, Mama Ibeji was present, watching with a stern expression. As the Babalawo chanted, Lucy felt a searing pain in her chest, as though something was being ripped from her soul. She collapsed to the ground, screaming. The Babalawo declared, "The ancestors are testing your love. If it is true, the curse will be lifted. If not, you will both perish." Emeka knelt beside Lucy, holding her hand tightly. "I will never leave you," he whispered. "No curse can break us." At that moment, a blinding light filled the shrine, and the oppressive darkness lifted. The air grew warm and peaceful, and Mama Ibeji's expression softened. "It is done," the Babalawo announced. "Your love has prevailed." The curse was lifted, and Lucy and Emeka returned to Lagos, determined to rebuild their lives. Though the scars of their ordeal remained, their bond was stronger than ever. Mama Ibeji, now remorseful, blessed their union and promised to support them in every way. The family reconciled, and Lucy learned the importance of balancing tradition with modernity. The city of Lagos, with all its chaos and beauty, became the backdrop for their love story, a tale of resilience, faith, and the power of true love.